break there, and we continue to do a few little dishes. Now, we did prepare some containers. This is what we call a pillow of pastry. It's just baked flat, ready rolled pastry and baked and crisp. Got a couple of squares here, which are just very simple. And then we made a vol au vent as well out of, with a flat pastry. For this, I folded it out, the ready rolled pastry, folded it into two, so it's 2 layers, so that we've actually got a nice container there that we can actually sort of play with. Now, interestingly enough, if we have a nice, with these parcels, they can be split into 2 quite simply. So you've got a top and a bottom. You can do that twice. And this will be one of our starters. It's a thing called mushrooms Ainsley, and it is actually quite nice to do. We've prepared some diced onions, some chopped mushrooms, and some bacon. We need Worcester sauce, white wine, and some cream in the pan. Just melt it off. A little bit of oil gives us a little bit more heat, just mixing the two. And we can put in our onions and our bacon. Quantities depend on how many portions you want to make. You can vary it according to your own flavors, to what you prefer. And we put them into the butter and start to sweat them off. This is one you can do in advance, and I will tell you the point at which you can stop it. So the onions are starting to become a little translucent. Like that. Then we add some Worcester sauce. Probably about a tablespoonful. Gives you a nice seasoning. Start to reduce it. Right, reduce that down so the liquid is nearly gone, and then add some white wine. Again, about half a glassful, be enough. Bring it to the boil. And we're going to use 2 of our containers as a presentation for it. I've got the one which is the flat one, and I've got the vol au vent with the lid. So I'll give you 2 examples on how you can present this. You're going to get this cooking liquor down so that it's not too runny. And then at the last minute, you're going to finish it with a drop of cream. You could use yogurt if you wanted to. I sometimes put a little dab of cream cheese in it, just gives it a different flavor. And of course, this particular thing, as I said earlier, you could use it as a sauce to go with spaghetti, or you could use it as a sauce on a meat, like you could do it with a steak, or you could do it with chicken. Poached or roasted chicken as a side. It's a nice gravy sauce, or very adaptable. I find it very interesting. I actually invested in a plug-in halogen plate to cook on, and I find that I use it more and more in the kitchen. It's much faster, much more efficient, and energy-wise, it saves an awful lot. I find the ceramic hob on the cooker tends to take quite a long time for things to heat up, and you can adjust it very, very quickly. I got it on QVC at a very good price. So that's nicely cooked. A little drop of cream in, just to finish it. This is what you would do just to finish it just before serving. So all we do now is we can do this onto here, which is one way of serving it. You could make some little bread baskets, roll some bread out, put it into some muffin tins and bake it so that it's crispy like fried bread. There's one version, so you can see that. And here's the vol au vent. You fill it up, let it spill over a little bit to give a good portion. Some cream around the side, some of the sauce. You could finish it with some chopped parsley if you wanted to, but on the whole, we have a little bit of kitchen paper. There we go. Now there you are, two very different versions of the same thing. Now, what we did earlier, got a bowl here. It's quite simple. And we blanched off some broccoli florets, and we blanched off some cauliflower florets. And what we're going to do is we're going to butter this dish so that it's slightly greasy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the broccoli in with the broccoli floret against the bowl, and I'm going to alternate it with cauliflower and put it together almost as if I'm putting it back together again, like a jigsaw puzzle. And you can try this a couple of times, and if it doesn't work, it's not a problem because it just looks like a collation of vegetables. But the principle of what it's about is a presentation and just showing what you can do in advance to save sweating over the stove just after whilst you're trying to have a nice dinner party. You can break it up if you want to fit what you want to do, like this. Any bits you can put into the middle just to finish it off. And there you go. Right, now this is what we've got. We've got this here. It's all put into there like that. Now we will cover that in cling film, put a couple of holes in it, and then we can heat it in the microwave about 8 to 10 minutes. Now the most important thing about microwave cooking is that you give it a little rest. So you cook it and then you let it stand for 2 minutes. Now, if you can imagine this, when you go out for a run or you do a little bit of exercise and a jog, you feel quite cool while you're doing all that. You get all this energy going and whatever. But it's only when you come home and you stop, you get what I call a hot flush. You sort of stop, and then all the heat that your energy you have a bit of a flush. Well, that's what you need to do with microwave, because the microwaves tickle the atoms and the molecules inside of the contents, and it rubs them all together, which creates the heat. And it's when it stops being tickled that it then has this flush. So you need to make sure you've got a couple of minutes before you actually serve it so that you can actually see the heat dissipate through the whole thing. So when you get to serving it, you take off the cling film, you put a plate over the top, so you've got it like that, turn it upside down, and if it all works right, you come out and you will have a vegetable bomb. And if it falls apart, it's not a problem, because then it just becomes a collection of vegetables. But they're all hot, all done in advance and prepared and ready to do. So that's a little idea of presentation, preparation in advance. You can do it a day ahead, and you can just sort of put it out. Now, I was going to do something with this pillow of pastry, and what I want to get is some mascarpone cheese. It has a specific flavour to it, and you want to put that in there, and you want to sweeten it slightly. So we're going to use some icing sugar to sweeten it. And how much you put in is up to you. If you want it very sweet, then put a lot in, but I only just tend to just take a little bit of sweetness there, which does the job quite perfectly as it is. Again, it's more the mythology than the actual amounts, because the amounts are dependent on you. And we're going to cream this together very gently. The thing with icing sugar is you often end up with a snowstorm. This particular dessert I quite like, because you can do a whole ready rolled sheet of pastry, just bake it as it is into a big cushion, and then just finish it as we're going to do now. This comes together very quickly. There we are. Just beat it up. There we are. Quite simple. And then just crush this slightly in the middle. So we've got that. And then we're going to put the cream on the top. Just tidy up your, if need be, take it off of the plate, tidy up the plate, and then you can lift it up and put it back on again, so that we're there. You could always put on a selection of fruit. I tend to leave the holes on, because I think it makes it look a little better. The big strawberries, but it gives you the right idea, because it's more about the fruit than it is about the pastry. The pastry is just the sort of courier of having some fresh fruit. There we are, simple as that. And to just finish it off, I'm going to warm up some strawberry jam with a little bit of water, just to glaze it and give it a nice shine. just a little tiny bit of water. You don't need very much. Just enough just to take the solidness of it off. I often use a little brush to do this, just to sort of make sure that it's not too thick. I've got my glaze there, a little bit of strawberry glaze, and just tap it on, and it should just dribble down slightly on there and give you that lovely professional finish. There we are. I think that's just about it. Now, how would that be on your dessert table? I think that looks quite stunning, one way or another. Of course, you can put more fruits round. You could put to contrast to blueberries, or you could put just one with raspberries and use raspberry jam as a glaze. But the really thing is, it's just a galette or a pillow of fresh fruits with a nice cream base. You can serve cream on the side if you wish, or ice cream. But I think that looks colourful and is quite pleasant for a dining room table or for a dinner party. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's about it for today.